Even though it's cold outside and we can't work with our outdoor plants, our indoor plants need care all year round. I'm here with Trevor of Corky's Garden Path. You're going to take us through taking care of houseplants from beginners to people who are more advanced, right?
That is right. So we have a collection of some beginner houseplants over here, as well as some that have become a little bit harder to find, maybe a little bit more rare, or maybe a little bit more difficult to care for.
Right, okay, so where are we starting?
So let's start with, say, the lower light plants, because typically people don't have large amounts of bright light in their house.
Yes.
So we'll start with ZZ plant, which they also call like a cardboard plant. This could actually be grown in really, really low light conditions.
Nice.
We have your standard green form, and then the black raven, which used to be a little bit harder to find. Now it's a little bit more common, but still a very, very easy to care for houseplant.
Wow, because they're beautiful, very beautiful.
Absolutely gorgeous. And then we have your snake plant and your Aglaonema. So both of these guys are very low light plants, super easy to take care of, kind of almost a set and forget type of plant. So as we kind of get a little bit farther into spring, now is a good time to start transplanting or potting up some of your house plants that have gotten a little bit root bound. So we'll take one of our snake plants here. This is starting to get, it's not really super tight in the container, but we're gonna up the size of the container maybe an inch or two. Try not to go to a really large container. They can start to rot or hold a little bit too much moisture if you go too large.
Okay.
So we're gonna go from a 4 to a 6-inch pot container. So as you pull it out, you're gonna see this isn't really root bound. If you start to see it really tight in there, you really wanna loosen up and break up these roots.
All right.
Pull them apart and try not to bury it too deep. So the soil level it's sitting at right now is the soil level it should be at once it's in your new container.
So you put there's just a little bit in there, right?
There's just a little bit. So we'll add a little bit. We carry the Espoma organic gardening line of potting soils. So we'll just put a little bit in the bottom here. Make sure it's at a good height and then just pack soil in around it. Once the soil's in around it, just add a little bit of water to kind of set the soil down around the root system and replace it back to its normal, happy location in your house.
And you probably don't want to mound it up too high, because then when you water it, that's the worst. It gets all over the place.
Don't mound it up too high, but press down a little bit just to fill in some of those air gaps. Add a little bit of water and
it'll settle, right?
Yep, that's it. So on this side we have a collection of, I don't want to say more difficult to care for, but not quite as easy as these guys, and some of the more rare plants. So during the pandemic, pink princess philodendron, something like this used to be really, really hard to find and really expensive. So with some of the propagators and the popularity of the houseplants, these guys have really come down in price. They're under $20 now. Wow. So you can really fill up a nice collection of some decently rare plants for a really reasonable price now.
I love this. I mean, the actual stem is such a beautiful color.
Yep, and you're gonna see these bright pink splashes throughout the leaves, as well as some of like the larger forms of Thai constellation behind us that you see. They're really some unique splashes of color and unique variegations. As you kind of look at these plants too, even from like overhead watering, you'll see some markings and some specklings on the leaves. So easy way to clean up your houseplants, just take a bottle of leaf shine and spray a microfiber rag, and then you can just wipe them down. That'll help create a nice little gloss or shine to the leaves and remove some of the markings if you have hard water or if you have a little bit of fertilizer on the leaves at the house. That'll help kind of clean up the leaves, give them a nice little shine. As you're going through your houseplant collection and inspecting, sometimes you'll notice some little critters on here. So spider mites can become an issue with some of the houseplants or mealybug. So we have some nice indoor organic controls here that you can kind of treat these with to knock down any populations that you start to see.
So what are we looking for spider mites?
So for spider mites, usually some puckering of the leaves, or you'll actually see some webbing in between the leaf veins. That's usually a telltale sign that you have a spider mite outbreak. Pretty easy to control at low populations. These are perfectly safe to spray indoors. Neem oil has been around for years. Mitex is just a collection of all sorts of like garlic oil and clove oil. So it's just an oil suffocant that'll help knock the population down and keep your plants healthy. So this one back here is actually a philodendron tortum, or they call it a fernleaf philodendron. You can see where it gets its name from these deeply lobed and serrated leaves.
Beautiful.
So this is a really easy to care for plant as long as you let it really dry out in between watering. Something like this would be prone to root rot if you really over care for your plants.
Right.
So it's not a bad idea usually to let a lot of these guys sit and dry out before you start soaking them again.
All right.
And being a philodendron, in nature, these guys actually kind of want to climb a little bit. So as you're potting these guys up, it probably wouldn't hurt to think about a moss pole or some sort of stake to start adding these to. So this is actually a bendable moss pole. You could create cool shapes with the plants.
That's awesome.
And you could kind of see, even behind you here, we added in some moss poles to some of the Paraiso Verde philodendrons. And it just hooks onto the moss pole. This is probably actually ready for an upsize of the moss pole, and this will just keep climbing. You could create unique shapes. You could even see the unique shape to the stem, and then you just hook it onto a new pole.
What about this one back here?
So this is actually a silver sword philodendron. Pre-pandemic, this used to be really, really difficult to find. They become a little bit more common on the market now, but really unique, bright, silvery type leaves. It is a philodendron. So again, you want to let it dry out in between waterings before you soak it again. Not many major pest or disease problems, which makes it a really nice houseplant. Pretty easy to care for. And this will actually size up quite large and continue to climb on a moss pole or another stake, just like most of your other philodendrons. So as you can see, philodendrons are kind of one of my favorite houseplants because of their durability and ease.
Yeah.
But they also have some of the most unique leaf colorations,
Beautiful.
leaf shapes, and kind of an aggressive habit. So you can buy a really small starter plant and get some size out of it pretty quickly. So this is a golden crocodile philodendron. So you can kind of see deeply lobed, bright yellow leaves. And before the new leaves emerge, they're this bright orange pink color.
Oh, look at that. That's neat.
So it gives you a little bit of interest, and
It
it's
does.
way different colors than you see on many other traditional just green houseplants. So this is just a nice way to add a little bit of additional color in against your traditional green houseplants.
It's hard to believe that these are all from the same family.
They are. They are, and there's way more varieties than we could even possibly carry. I mean, you're gonna see hundreds and hundreds of varieties of philodendron.
Trevor, tell everybody a little bit more about Corky's Garden Path.
So here at Corky's Garden Path, we've built one of the larger collections of houseplants available in Northeast Pennsylvania, and we try to keep it fresh and continually get fresh houseplants either weekly or bi-weekly, so we always have something new to look at here. In season 2, we grow over 90% of our annuals and vegetables and hanging baskets. That's what we're really known for. So this keeps us nice and busy during the winter months, but within the next few weeks, we'll be preparing our Easter crop and our Mother's Day crops.
Yes.
And you can come see us for all these beautiful hanging baskets and vegetables.
And you also have a great gift shop.
We do. So we're loaded with our spring material in our gift shop. So stop in and see us. So we are located at the intersection of Layton Road and Justice Boulevard in Scott Township, Pennsylvania. You can find us on Facebook or Instagram or at corkysgardenpath.com.
Terrific. Thanks again, Trevor.
Thank you.
You're welcome.